Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Small Business. I'm glad to be with you here again, as always. My name is Kevin Dandino from Centennial State Insurance Agency, who sponsors this podcast. So if you're looking for any kind of personal quote, business quote for your insurance, anything like that, feel free to reach out to us, 303-838-0554. We'd be more than happy to take care of you, get to know you, and figure out what your needs are and set you up with the best possible insurance policy that we can offer. So with that being said, today I have our very first repeat customer here on the podcast, Amber of Daddy's Homemade Syrups. Amber, I'm so glad you took the time out to be with with us again. I guess the first time didn't scare you off. Is that accurate?
No, I guess not. Still here, still doing our thing, and I appreciate you having us back. And it's great to be back again.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, just really quickly for people out there who maybe didn't see the first episode from last year, which everyone can go back and find that as well if you want to listen to that. But kind of again, tell us who you are, what products you make, and how delicious they are.
Absolutely. We are Daddy's Homemade Syrup. We have a natural syrup based with just pure cane sugar, water, and natural extracts. Nothing artificial, nothing, no high fructose corn syrup or preservatives. It is very interesting this year because a lot of the big brands are kind of being pushed to take all of their artificial ingredients out, and ours never had it.
Mm,
So an interesting shift that was not happening last year. Really seeing a lot of customers leaning into that. We started it actually for our breakfast foods, but then we started putting them in coffees, cocktails, top of ice cream, chicken nugget, popcorn,
yeah.
anything and
Yeah.
everything.
Awesome. No, I've had some of it before. It's amazing. I know, like Savannah over at the insurance agency, she swears by your stuff. It's definitely an awesome product. And then the care that you guys put into it and everything as well just kind of speaks volumes about who you are, what the product is, and what the business is all about. So I think that's awesome. And I think it's interesting you bring up the changes that has been happening last year, because I think this is going to become more and more prevalent, especially in the food
Yes.
industry there, where a lot of people built their businesses on, we are separating ourselves from the main big name brands by using all these all natural ingredients, no artificial stuff. But maybe a challenge there coming up for you, and I'm interested to kind of pick your brain about that and how you're viewing this, kind of
Yep.
what you're thinking of doing. um, and how you're going to continue to separate yourself from them if they're now saying, now we have no artificial stuff, now we have all the natural sweeteners. It's like, well, then what are you going to do? So curious what you've experienced with that change.
Really not a lot of negative changes
Okay.
yet. What I'm seeing so far is just really leaning into that, right? Like, yeah, they're changing now, but we never had to change. We were this is us from the very beginning. Our
Mm,
story,
yeah.
our brand, our family aspect of it is not something that will ever be competed with any of the big brands. So from that aspect of it, I'm not worried about it. They're out there selling their cheap, natural new thing. But ours has got the brand and the family and the story behind it, and that's real. And we've always been very transparent and very honest and open from the very beginning about all of that.
I think that's a huge positive for any small
Yeah,
business owner that's kind of facing that kind of challenge. Or like, when you can go back and say, like, this is us and it's always been us.
yeah,
And when one of the big things we like to bring out in these podcasts, as you shared before on your previous episode, was your story, right? How you got to
yep,
where you are, and the reason behind your business. So um it's going to be interesting to see more of that maybe pushed out and broadcast, versus before it was like, oh yeah, here's our story. Maybe you have something hanging up or on your website, but maybe that's something that you all start leaning into more and be like, hey, we've been doing this since the beginning, right? That's what makes us different
yep.
from the beginning, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a lot of fun to see some of that. And I do kind of take it as a challenge, and I'm like, but at the same time I'm not worried because I know that we're never out here to compete with the big guys, right? We started this completely by accident and for our family, and it has really I forgot to mention how delicious our product was, so thank you for throwing that in there because it
Of
it
course.
sounds better coming from you than me. But that's another piece that's been a lot of fun too, is because we've heard stories from our customers. We've got several customers that tell us they've got other health issues, right, themselves, and that was the big reason why we started our product, was because of the issues that my health issues my husband had, and hearing
Mhm.
some of these other customers and people thanking us for making the product that we do because they have these issues that they have to watch what they're putting in their bodies, and sometimes some of our syrup is one of the only things that they're actually able to have and they enjoy it. It's not something that it's like they have to be forced to eat it kind of thing. It's the one thing that they're able to enjoy in moderation along with the other dietary restrictions that they have to have. So hearing some of that
Yeah.
is has been truly inspiring as well, because it wasn't, we thought it was just my husband and us, and little did we know that it was going to be
Yep.
inspiring and helpful for so many others as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really cool to not, I mean, not only have you back on and be our first repeat customer. I think that's what I'm going to refer to all of you all come back on for multiple times, repeat customers. Um,
Yeah.
but we've talked about in the first year of the podcast, everyone I had on, we've talked about challenges that they face, right? People think back to different challenges they had and stuff, but it's like every year, there's things that crop up, and it's interesting to just hear as time goes by, what's happened, what's occurred, how have you overcome them. So, outside of that one we've already talked about, what are some other things that happened this year, maybe highlights or things you've worked on, um, that's kind of pushed your business forward?
Oh, great question. Recently, we were actually featured as Biz Colorado Biz Magazine's Winter 2025 Made in Colorado Winter Spotlight Innovation. So that was pretty fun. I got to be
Nice.
featured on there. I don't know if you had even heard about that yet.
No,
So
no,
that
that's
was a
that's
fun
fantastic.
surprise. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We also, I'm trying to remember. I don't think we had started our Pour Love Forward initiative the last time that I spoke
Mm,
with you.
I don't think so.
But really kind of going back to our roots and our it really stemmed from wanting to kind of spread the kindness and small acts and creating these big ripples. So we actually started this Pour Love Forward initiative to kind of spread kindness throughout, right? But we're also trying to focus helping teachers and staff of schools. Specifically, this actually stemmed from, we're based in Evergreen. So last September, we were faced with a lot of challenges in our community after a high school shooting. Um,
Yeah,
and we had three young kids. So we were very much, luckily, everything that we knew was good. But started this Pour Love It Forward initiative to try to help with teachers and staff and community, leaning more into the community and the inspiration behind everything that we kind of loved and valued from the very beginning. So creating
yeah.
something even more from our series.
I think that's fantastic. We always talk about uh getting involved with the community, and what does that
Yep.
look like? And everybody has a different story. Everyone has different passions, had different viewpoints on interacting with the community and giving back to the community. And I think it's awesome that you seem to have taken things a step beyond what I think most people would have done. It's one thing, and not dogging or digging on anyone that just maybe here's a charitable contribution, you know,
Yep.
or I'm here to help for a day or something. But to say there's something here that we can do as a long term assistance program, or or give back program, and really integrate that into your day-to-day business.
Yeah.
So walk us through a little bit more about, like, what did that look like, and what does that program really, when you say helping out teachers and community, like, what are you doing within that program that's really kind of, like I said before, taking it a step further?
Um, Pour Love Forward started with just a simple throwing something on our website for a bottle of syrup, a handwritten note to teachers, and we would hand deliver it to them and show that appreciation to teachers and staff at schools. Little did I know that there was going to be a bigger need from teachers. We found out since then that there's that maybe they have needs of classroom supplies throughout the year, pencils, erasers, things that they're using constantly throughout. Um, in the middle of all of this, we started hearing more about budget cuts for teachers in schools and how drastic that was going to start to affect them. So
Mhm.
really just starting out with donating a portion of our sales during the holiday season to staff and teachers for small appreciation gifts and things that they might need at the time, to creating a survey of what needs are actually present, if any, and what this might look like long term, to talking to more people in the community and asking, having small businesses asking, we would love to help. What are your sponsorship options? And me not having a clue because I had no idea this is where it was going to go. Having people ask me if this was a nonprofit, I'm like, no, not yet.
Nope.
So really started thinking about what this might look like, and there really is a much larger need and desire in the communities to fulfill this and how to make that happen. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might be learning more about sponsorships and nonprofits and figuring out how to
Yeah.
make all of that work, because there really is a pretty large gap. And for us in the mountain communities, we hear a lot of, well, we're not big enough. We're a smaller community, so all of these things don't apply, or you can't have this. And
Mm.
there's really a lot of local community members that are kind of banding together to try to figure out, well, yeah, we're small, but we're still here and our needs still matter. And realizing that that might be the case in other areas too, not just ours.
Yeah.
So starting out
I would
small
add
and growing from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's everything, it starts like that, every
Yeah,
small business, every business in general, it always starts small, and it's just, what kind of care and tendering, do you put forth into it to help it grow? And I think
yeah,
this is somewhere I think, you could have looked at this and been like, man, I am so busy with all these delicious syrups and all the events we go to and the traveling. That's
yeah,
like I don't have time to do more with this. I'm doing kind of what I can, and but to say like, okay, well, if this is something that's needed and people are wanting to help out and be a part of, then let's start looking into this. And I think that says a lot about
yeah.
who you are and what your company is about as well. So major props
Thank you.
to you guys for
Thank you.
kind of continuing that journey forward. And it's really impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
That kind of actually goes back a little bit to some of the challenges that we faced,
Yeah.
because during all of this, as much as I love what we're doing and what we've been building and know that this is kind of my path that I want to grow, I kind of throughout all of this came to a kind of stopping point, so to speak, where I just couldn't focus on our business anymore because of all the things going on in our community. So it
Mm.
was my way. I'm like, well, I can't just sit here and do nothing. I've got to do something if I can't focus on, right? Like part of me kind of wanted to work for somebody else, right? That I'd like, there were certain
Yeah.
tasks I knew I had to accomplish. I didn't have to make any decisions. I was just told what to do and I go and do it. It was just tough to do the daily things that I needed to get done. And somehow it started snowballing into what could potentially be a nonprofit later, and finding ways to help the community. And at least if I couldn't focus on my stuff, I could be helping others in some way or form.
Yeah. No, I think that's, again, it just goes back to how important that is. And it doesn't, I don't think people set out to open small businesses with the mindset of a major part of this is going to be helping out the community. Right. I think that over time, as they get established, kind of like what you guys have done,
Ours were
right?
just
You're like,
straight to
oh, like
delicious
we have
syrup.
this. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, oh, I want to make pencils, or I want to make pizzas, or any other word that starts with a P, I
right.
guess is what I don't going off of. I don't know why. But it's nobody sets out, unless you're starting a nonprofit, you're starting a business to make money,
Right.
to be able to feed your family, keep a roof over your head. But then just out of the goodness of your all hearts, and this is a common thing among small business owners, you all find ways to get involved in your community and give back in very meaningful and oftentimes very unique ways, and things that just other people
Yeah.
weren't doing. So you guys are, when we talk about small businesses being the lifeblood of communities, man, it just proves that over and over again.
Absolutely. It takes a
Yeah.
community, it takes a village for sure.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, I'm excited to hear more about that. And look, as you get more information, send it our way, and we'd be happy to push it out. And for anybody listening, if it's something that you'd like to be involved in and maybe help out, chip out as well, or chip in as well, we can get you get Amber's information over to you and see what you guys can do. So that's really exciting to hear, though.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
tell
And if
me,
anybody has any ideas on nonprofits or to help, then I welcome that too.
we might be able to get you in touch with some people. We'll see. But yeah, it's solid. That's the
Perfect.
cool thing about this podcast is, I think, kind of building a network of small business owners, all across really the country. Because now we've had somebody in Illinois once, we've had somebody in Texas. And so we've kind of started spreading out and stuff like that. And you just never know who you're going to meet. But that's kind of the joy of being a small business owner, is you just never know really where it's going to go, from one day to the next or 1 year to the next.
1 minute to the next.
Yeah, exactly. The next thing I want to ask you, I think I saw you guys won some sort of small business award from the Broncos. If I'm not, or there's, I know they do like a small business thing during the summers or something like that. Is that correct?
That was a couple years ago, but yes,
Oh, was it? Oh,
we
okay.
sure
I
did.
saw a picture of it. I saw a picture of it earlier this
Yeah.
last summer. I know they do that every year, but
Oh,
yeah. So a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, that's pretty awesome.
good.
I
More
guess
people are
I'm just
seeing
curious,
it
like,
now.
yeah, exactly. What is that? Because I mean, maybe for other small business owners, that's something that you applied for. Is that something like what is that all about?
That is actually a funny story as well. I had applied for probably about 3 years,
Hmm.
trying to get not being nominated and trying to get in, and did not get that until the last year. Each year I tried to share it and get as many people to vote for us. The last year when we actually won it, it was like a last minute thing. I got a reminder that the nominations were up. It was due that day. So I was like, yeah, what the heck? So I threw our name back in there for a nomination, and lo and behold, we were one of the 3 winners.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty
That's awesome.
amazing. They did a video on us, and we were able to get some funding to help with our business, and our kids got to come down and meet Miles and be at the stadium, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay, awesome. I just wasn't sure what that was all about. I think things like that, maybe small business owners kind of feel like maybe they don't have enough of a following. They don't have enough, a strong enough base or something like that. But I think
Yeah.
it's cool that a small business like you, I'm not, like you do a lot, don't get me wrong, but and it's something that I don't want small business owners to kind of discount themselves when it comes to any of these things, from helping the community in very unique ways, like we talked about before, or kind of applying to these things, whether, I don't know, grants, if you want to call them that, or um, just different things to kind of not discount them, like, hey, you are doing
Yeah,
something fantastic, and you have a fantastic idea, great product, great business, like go showcase that. So did you find like
absolutely. And we nominated ourselves. So it was one
yeah,
of those. I didn't think of it in the beginning because I was nervous to ask other people to nominate us, and found out that we could nominate ourselves. So I did, and it worked out.
just do it, just do it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Don't
That's
be
really
afraid.
awesome.
You never know.
Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
Exactly.
You're in the
Oh
same spot.
man. Exactly right. No, you say no, and then yeah, who cares? But then, like you
Yeah.
said, reapply again, do it again, and see. Maybe eventually one of those times it's kind of like what from Shawshank Redemption. They're like, okay, fine, here's your library. Just stop sending us letters. Just stop
Yes.
applying. But no, I
Yeah.
think that's a really cool thing.
Absolutely.
Um,
And paying it forward with those guys, a shout out to the Broncos, because I had that contact from winning that. I'm in charge of our silent auction stuff for our local elementary school. So I reached out to them, and they're shipping out some stuff for our school to help them out. So I
oh wow,
super
very cool.
appreciate that, and the connections and helping the school and the kids out. Yeah.
You just never know. You never know where those things are going to lead,
Amazing.
and the support you can get.
Yep.
Yeah, another way to build your
Absolutely.
network. So the next question I have for you would be, kind of after everything, you've gone through this last year, if you could like explain to us like what are some of the events you've gone to and everything like that, but also like what are some of the highlights and where are you projecting your business to be going in the next 1 to 2 plus years? What are some of the changes on the horizons or things you're looking at doing?
Oh gosh, this last year we have started talks with conversations with local regional distributors. One specifically that focuses on coffee shops,
Hmm,
and then another one that kind of does retail and food service. So hopefully helping us. Some of our customers are their customers, so they started seeing that and reached out to me. So we're trying to navigate the world of distribution and having somebody else help us. So with that being said, then of course we would need to be. We're also looking into a Kiva loan for our business. So I'm working on an application for that. It is basically a crowdfunding. For those that don't know, would be reaching out to, family and friends. Would be like private funding in the beginning, and then it kind of snowballs from there, and they reach it out to others. Um, because if all this distribution stuff goes on, and we start to get into more coffee shops and bars and restaurants, we're gonna need more jars and more ingredients and scaling
yeah.
everything up to be able to reach it into to more places. So really excited for what might happen with that. We've definitely seen a lot more customers that are making their own syrups and very excited to come
Hmm.
across ours because they don't want to make it all the time,
Yeah. Fair.
whether it's individuals or as businesses. Yeah. So so that's been interesting. I've been seeing a lot more people that are doing that, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of big things that we're working on right now, and then of
Okay.
course we're going to be actually back at the Walk for the Cure for the Arthritis Foundation in June as well.
Okay. Very cool. I think interesting talking point there. The way you talked about other people creating syrups as well. I think there are probably some business owners out there. They're probably the minority, but there's some business owners out there that if they see other people, an influx of people trying to do what they're doing as well, they maybe get frustrated. Like this was my idea. Like why are like you're piggybacking off of my thing? Go do your own thing. But that doesn't sound like obviously not the type of person you are, and it's not anything that I'm hearing. So like, how do you view that kind of competition? Is there any kind of collaboration you do with those other people? Do they reach out to you for help, or like when it comes to competition, especially in that regard, like what's your stance on that? What's your approach to that?
I I I think there's room for everybody. I perfect example is Bjorn's Honey. They are truly inspiring to me. I had actually reached out to them about carrying our products in some of our, and they look at us as a competition, and I didn't even think about that. And at the same time, I'm always like spreading the word about their products and talking about them at farmers markets. And we don't have honey. A lot of people think they see us and they're like, oh, it's honey. I'm like, no, no, it's syrup. But if you want
No.
honey, here's some other great places to go.
Yeah.
So things like that where you don't even realize it. And it's kind of an ongoing joke with my husband too, because he's like, well, you can't give away our secrets, right? Because we don't want somebody else making it. I'm like, if somebody else wants to do it, great, let them. Let's see if they survive this, more than 1 year, let alone the 7 years that we've been doing it, and
Yeah.
grow. And
Yeah.
it's hard. It's super easy to do it for yourself and for your family, and it's not rocket science, right? But building that business and sticking with it and doing that consistently and surviving it is a whole other animal for sure.
Yeah. Well, especially when you start getting into different flavors and stuff like that. And I still imagine
Yeah.
like you still need a good recipe, right? And knowing as how clumsy
Yep.
as I am, like the idea of just spilling a pot full of syrup on the floor or something is just like, I don't want to mess with. But yeah, no, I
It's
totally get
hot
what
and
you're
it's
saying. I
very
think,
sticky.
yeah, yeah, and it'd take months to clean up. I'm sure if I did that. Um, I think that's a really
Yeah.
cool just viewpoint and approach to that. Like we're all in this together. There's room for everybody, and I think again, it's building out that network. So I have a lot of respect for that kind
Yeah.
of viewpoint, and so I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. And
Yeah.
another great example that when we've consistently over the years keep having people ask about us making a sugar-free option. And we
Mm,
have not done that yet just because It's a little bit of a whole different process. We've tried it, but we still want to keep it natural. We don't want to have any chemicals or artificial fillers in there. And from what we found, most of the sugar-free options have that. So I'd love to be able to offer that for the people. There's definitely a growing need and desire for that. And we just don't know how to do that, if it's even possible, without compromising what we've already been building without the extra added stuff to it. So being able to kind of refer other people to, yeah, this we don't have this, and here's some other great places to check out if you do need a sugar-free option.
Yeah. No, I didn't even think about that. You think sugar free, you're like, oh yeah, that's easy. But when it's syrup, right? You definitely need something in there. I could see how it'd
Yes,
be a challenge.
it makes
So,
it very
um,
complicated. Yeah,
yeah, I could imagine, right?
yeah,
That's awesome. That's so
definitely.
cool. Well, it sounds like you have a lot
When
on your
people are
plate.
wanting to make, yeah,
Yeah, go
there's
for it.
always new
Go for it.
ideas. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when people are wanting to make their own, even like with small businesses, right? We've been able to save on some time and labor costs and help create that consistency if some of the local businesses are making their own. Maybe they have their own special signature flavor that they know that their customers love. Great. Let's keep that, and let's bring in our candy cane syrup for the holidays and help you out with something special for the holidays. So that's been a
Yeah.
lot of fun too, being able to make those partnerships both with individuals and businesses when they're making their own syrups.
Yeah. So it's like a healthy competition. It's like,
Or
man,
seeing the
I
transformation if they're making having some of the cheap ones.
yeah, right. I just think that's cool. It's like, look, I want my business to be as successful as theirs, but you could easily be like, no, like I worked hard to get where I'm at. I'm not going to help you, but to say like, no, we're going to sit here and we're going to become partners, and figure out how we can help each other out, and we're both small business owners, and
Yep,
and we're in this together, kind of a thing. So I just think for anybody out there, like maybe find ways as
absolutely.
part of a way to give back into your community. Like find other small businesses that are doing what you're doing. Find some that you aspire to be, some that are maybe just starting out, and figure out how to
Yeah,
help them out. Because I think that those little things go so far in today's
yeah,
world. You know?
they do. They do. And you never know what those connections might lead to in those small conversations. Don't be afraid to
Yeah,
ask or to talk with them, even if you think they're your biggest competition.
yeah, exactly. Oh man. Well, Amber, I think we reached the end of the episode, and again, I love picking your brain. I love hearing about your guys' story, the things that you guys are doing, and
Absolutely.
as your community projects kind of grow and whatnot. I think definitely again have you on again down the line to hear how that's going, and everything like that. But um,
Absolutely.
for all the listeners out there, remind us how they can find your website. Kind of any specials or products you have right now that you're pushing, and just kind of let us know.
Yeah, you can find us at daddyshomemadesyrup.com. Most of the social, Facebook, Instagram at Daddy's Homemade Syrups. And we're going to be posting all of our events on there. We're going to be starting up farmers market seasons again. Hopefully, you can join us on June 7th for the Walk for the Cure for the Arthritis Foundation. Our Pour Love Forward stuff is on our website as well as our store locator and all the information that you could possibly need or want.
Perfect. Everyone out there, go check it out. Order some for yourself. See that I'm not lying. Like this stuff is great. I think we'd probably have a whole testimony from Savannah as well, talking about how much she loves your stuff. I know she's mentioned it to me several times as well. So seriously, great job on another year. Well done.
Thank you.
And excited to hear what the
Thank you.
future brings for you down the line as well.
I can't wait to keep you posted.
Awesome. Sounds great. Well, hey, everybody out there, again, this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. If you want a quote for your personal or business insurance, give us a call today. We'd be more than happy to get to know you and help you out. 303-838-0554 is our number. You can also find us by searching Centennial State Insurance Agency. Also, this podcast is an open invitation for all small business owners. If you want to highlight yourself and your business, no strings attached. Nothing like that. Amber can attest to that. All our other guests can attest to that. We just want to have you on to allow you to share your story and push out the name of your business. So let us know if you're interested. We'd be more than happy to get you on. Send us a message or put in the comments, I want to be on the podcast, and we will get you that information. So that being said, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode. Again, Amber, thank you very much for joining us. But with that being said, we'll see you next time when we peel back the curtain and take a look at another small business. Take care, everyone. We'll see you later.